Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Josh with his movie, Shells. Let's take a look at the clip.
Two lovers were born, wrapped in forever. I count the planes in the sky, clouds in the stairwell. Get up on high, love on a shelf.
Josh, firstly, thank you for being here today. Thank you
Such a pleasure.
Being part of the NewFilmmakers LA family.
It feels really good.
Oh, well, we're so happy to have you, and it was such a wonderful experience yesterday having your film with us at the festival.
Thank you.
For those that haven't seen Shells, tell us a little about the story.
Yeah, Shells is a story about two couples that come together and have dinner after not having seen each other for a long time. The backstory is a post-pandemic kind of situation, and they haven't seen each other, and they reconnect and have dinner, and in the process of the evening, the conversation deepens, and each of them end up accessing this kind of emotional territory just below the surface. Each of them with sort of a different thing going on, but all of it very personal, and all of it you could feel kind of this cracking into this deeper place that perhaps they'd been holding on to or incapable of letting out until they were in this social environment. And that's kind of all of it. It's this little moment, a conversation that delves and breaks into emotional things.
I really love that this, story did go below the surfaces, like the immediate surfaces of what each character was going through. We don't often see films like that. It may be kind of shown in a moment or a shot, but we never really go to that depth of what's going on. And it was really intriguing to go on that journey with each of the characters. Where did this inspiration come for you, Josh, in sort of articulating this story and kind of creating these characters?
Yeah, it was... so my background is making dance films, and in that world, there is a way that you do it. There's a process, and it's obviously not scripted. So what you do is you sort of bring artistries together, filmmaking and storytelling artistry with this dance choreography artistry. And I discovered in the process of doing this that relationship and that process is very unique. And what I like most about it and why it resonates so much with me is that it's non-hierarchical. It's truly co-creative, not just collaborative. You literally have to work with the other person, and you work with these territories, these kind of, what do we want the audiences to feel? What do we feel? How do we want to convey feelings through movement, through storytelling, through imagery? And it's not quite improv, although it borrows a lot from that, because we do start with these territories. We kind of know what we want to do, but we don't totally know how we're going to do it. So, of course, I love narrative films. I grew up with films and have a love affair with it, and you're so related to it because so much of what we do in dance filmmaking echoes what you do in a feature film or a narrative. So I woke up in the middle of the night with this idea it started with the car scene in my mind of, people having a conversation and someone says, oh, excuse me, I forgot something in my car, goes out and has a full breakdown. And to me, that was kind of that unlocked the idea that we have conversations, we have ways we present ourselves to others, we have our persona, and then we have this version of ourselves or this other version of ourselves underneath it. And from there, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be neat if everyone at that dinner party did that? And we got to understand what everyone's psychologies are or emotional states are through these private public breaks that are happening within the context of the conversation.
It's really fascinating. I feel you really delved into human psychology, because I think we all have different traumas, triggers, or things that can kind of make us feel certain ways, and especially in these settings as well, especially after we all kind of remember those early stages of when we started to interact again after the pandemic, and it was such a strange, surreal, we sort of forgot how to be, but having those individual kind of parts of our character, of how we deal with certain situations in certain situations. It was really fascinating to watch. And so obviously each person had a different dynamic and thing that they were going through. You also kind of gave this really great actor's dream to be able to delve into these particular characters. First, you talk about how you brought your cast together and how in this particular film, you know, you worked with your actors.
Yeah. I had a friend who's been in a lot of stuff I've done who's an actor, and I immediately wanted him in it. And he couldn't do it because he's SAG and, you know, a lot of, you know how it goes. But he was like, may I cast it for you?
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, which was just such a beautiful thing to offer, you know. So he found 2 couples that were in his acting class. And he showed a lot of people, but he said these 2 are actually couples and they actually know each other.
Interesting.
And I thought, well, that's perfect. Like, regardless of what the levels are of skill, it didn't even really matter. I just really loved that he had found 2 couples that knew how to act. They turned out to be incredible actors.
Yes.
But that was how I found them. And then I presented the deck because, like I said, there wasn't a traditional script. But my deck was pretty well laid out in terms of what I thought the characters needed to access emotionally. And it seemed like they were very drawn to that as a challenge / opportunity from an acting perspective, because it wasn't, you know, you're always accessing some sort of emotionality as an actor, but oftentimes you're either trying to invent it based on what you're reading in the script or intuiting from the script, or you're accessing some emotion you felt and marrying it to the subject of what you're acting in. And this was a little different in that we started with the emotional territory. It's only that. We have no script, you know. We have subject matters we want to tackle. But I think that was an interesting approach.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And it's amazing that you found that this is the dynamic of how you brought your cast together as well. Like, it's really fascinating. There's a lot of complexities to, you know, this story, and it must have felt like a slightly different narrative, obviously, of experience in making dance film. How was that transition for you? Like, what did you kind of notice, you know, directing this that felt differently in kind of the orchestration of production? How was that different for you in your experience?
Yeah, there was weight to it because I have attached a lot of importance to narrative films. They've always felt like a thing way beyond me, way bigger than me. I'm the kind of person that stays all the way through till the lights come on in a movie theater. And I'm always just so impressed by how many people it takes to create a film. And I watch all the credits go by, and part of it for me is imagining those people making this thing, you know? So I've always had that, and I haven't really allowed myself to feel like that was my territory.
Yeah.
Everything's very run and gun with me. I've done some documentaries as a DP. So to enter into this arena, and I have to say, like, I only did it with like half a foot or toe in the water because I didn't write a full script, and I didn't get funding, and I didn't, you know, think about distribution, and I didn't do anything that filmmakers do. So I'm very much a first-time writer director in this.
Well done. This is the first one, Josh.
Thank you. So, you know, I remember, funny enough, and as a testament to first-time filmmaking, the house is my neighbor's across the street, and he has this beautiful kitchen. I've always admired it. He has since told me he will never lend it out for filmmaking again. He absolutely hated the entire thing. But I remember walking across the street in the morning of the shoot day and thinking, wow, like, this is incredible. You know, what I'm about to embark on. There's a whole crew, you know, there's gaffer and a first and you know, like an AD, and all this stuff was there. I had a chef on set because all the food that was involved, and it was incredible. It was incredible. Like, and it was intimidating. And as you know, directing is just answering questions in rapid fire succession. That's really all directing is. And I happen to be okay at that, you know, like, it's a strange gift I think someone is given, where the more people are asking, the more you kind of like, your heart rate slows, and you're like, I know what you're asking, I know what you need, you know, like, and you're like, okay, let's do this. And I just went into that mode, and like
Yeah.
everything faded away. And it's just like in the movies, when someone takes a basketball shot and
Yeah.
all you hear is the heartbeat and it was like that. Everything just
You're
kind of
problem
slowed down.
solving, aren't you?
Yeah.
Really, essentially. Yeah. We did a great job at it, so I
Thank
hope
you.
you know. And so, and I think that sort of vouches for your kind of empathetic experience. I mean, you gave that to us both in the content of what you were creating. I mean, to make a piece that is covering so many emotions, you've got to be an emotional kind of, filmmaker in the first place to create that story, right?
Yeah.
But it really was special to sort of, it's so funny. I think you can't help but watch your film without self-reflecting. Like we've all been in that moment where we've taken ourselves to the bathroom and we're like, okay, I can get through this, like, whatever it may be. And I'm curious about taking this on the road, certainly, like, obviously having it on the big screen with us at New Filmmakers, like, what's the experience and the reaction been like for you in making this story? Because I feel like you must have a lot of people that could relate to a lot of these different characters.
Yeah. It's emotional,
Yeah.
like it's almost obvious, I think, if you see a movie like this, you're like, well, whoever made that must be a fairly emo person, and I qualify as a funny aside, not coincidentally, the feel wheel? Have you ever seen this thing?
Yeah.
So my dad invented that.
What?
Yeah, 1972
No.
was an insert in Psychology Today, and
You were born into it then, basically. That's right.
I was absolutely born to make this film.
Wow.
It sits on my wall, and it's been knocked off a billion times, but the original one was this 1972 thing. And
Wow.
I joke with him that there's actually not enough emotions on it. We've progressed so much as a culture. It's like, why isn't we on this? Like it's like actually quite a basic.
But for
set of
1972
emotions.
though, that was groundbreaking.
It was like, we don't do this. We don't just look at our emotions and let's go to this territory and talk about it and tell people what we feel. And so, I was born into, the humanist psychology movement. My dad was a psychologist, and so 100% predisposed to just be emotional and and to learn to access it and be okay with it, and then to sit with it and be like, wow, what was that like, and it's been like that every step of the way with this, including with my producer, who's also my business partner, Sean Levitan, and he is also a very emotional person. And we run everything emotionally. We have a small little production company. It's called Humans Are Social. It's like everything is rooted around this, we're going to do things with kindness and emotionality at the front, and honesty and transparency, and with love and intention. And we finished the film. I looked at it. I cried multiple times. And then I sent it to him, and he cried. And he called. I was in the car, I remember, and we were talking about it. And we were like, I guess the next thing is to show people. But that's really hard to accept, because I'm having such a moment right now at having just made something, and feeling good about it. This idea of then sharing it introduces new emotions, vulnerability, fear, anxiety, all this stuff about now we have to accept, like, it'll never be this pure. It'll be both what we feel, but also mirroring and reflecting on what other people feel about this.
Absolutely. You're sharing your art,
Sharing your art.
Yeah.
And then I did yesterday, and it was absolutely beautiful. And Sean was there, and we had a great moment. And, I was watching it along with everyone else, as filmmakers do, and probably feeling a lot of this, like, thread of emotionality that I bet every director has felt sitting in a movie theater with strangers. And, through the course of it, I started to feel everyone around me feeling it. And even before it ended and people clapped, which is, of course, the moment you think about.
Yeah, of course.
Even as it ended and the sort of camera panned, to the shells, I felt everyone drop, and like it came around, and I was like, that was actually better than the clapping, and the afterwards. It was like, we all dropped in. And
Well, you can feel the energy, can't you, in an audience?
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience, and I'm sure your film that was was a personal piece of art that you've been shown, shared, and now it's out there, and and everybody gets to be a part of it in their own capacity. So well done. I mean,
Thank you.
Seriously, I mean, I'm looking forward to the Fieldworld documentary as well at the same time.
I want to make that.
Right? I was going to say, it has to happen, and you have to make it, obviously. But no, seriously, thank you so much. And I'm glad that you're taking us to these places in film, because I think, more often than not, we might show a glimpse of a human emotion and then disappear and cut to and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It was really nice to stay in these moments. I think it really validated people's feelings a lot. Because everyone's trying to put on, even just coming out to a film festival is, we're all just, okay, gonna compartmentalize my problems today, gonna come out, gonna do this, gonna, do the whole thing. And it takes a lot of people in every day that we're experiencing right now. So I think it was a really important film for a very, the right time to really go into the depths of psychology of these people.
Great.
Where are you taking us next, Josh? What's going on?
I have a documentary I'm going to start making. It's really cute and fun. It's a short. And then I have, 3 scripts that are in various stages at the moment.
Yeah.
But my near-term goal is to go back and just reconnect with dance filmmaking.
Yes, as you should.
And I just want to, it's my happy place and my calm place is just to be in that space. And it keeps me creative. It keeps the flow going. And so I'm just going to go down the same process where I'm going to make my films with these beautiful people that I love to work with, and then we'll see where these scripts go.
Fantastic. Well, they got a lot of love for you in the dance world, and obviously in the people that you work with. So I'm sure, but please you can share those with us as well. We'd love to see your dance films as well as
Maybe
your
we need
narratives.
a dance program.
Yes, we do. See, New Filmmakers need a dance program. Josh, we spoke about this yesterday. We're going to make it happen, okay? But listen, Josh, thank you so much for Shells. Thank you for bringing your film to us, and welcome to the family.
Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Josh Aaron.